So in our shell, right, we got a few reserved keywords. If you want to name your variables, you cannot use this type of reserved keyword. And there are a few escape character that you need to know. If you want to use this type of character, right, you need to add a backslash in your script. Example, if you want to print this, if you want to print an exclamation mark, right, you need to add a backslash symbol, okay? And also, if it's a reserved keyword, right, you will see it's highlighted in blue. So you know you shouldn't use this type of word as your variable's name. Okay. But before we look in how is the syntax of the shell scripting, right, let's look at Linux permission. Okay. If you already know, it's okay. Just going to revise for me. There are three type of category. Okay. Three type of category. One is owner, two group, and three is everyone else. So this one is owner, and this one is the group, and this one is everyone else. You can set different permission type, okay? There are different permission type. 0 is no permission. 7 is maximum, okay? Write and execute. Usually, right, we only give 7 to our owner, okay? Our owner. We don't give 7 to group, and we don't give 7 to everyone else because it's very dangerous, okay? Usually we use 755 for making the script executable. For this thing, okay, for this thing you can read it by yourself. Most common is 755 that we are going to use to make a particular file executable. Because in Linux, right, every file will have information about owner, have information about group, have information about everyone else. Example, if you have written a script, okay, if you have written a script called as hello world.sh, to run this script, right, you need to make modifications to your file permission. So to change this file permission, okay, you want this file to run as a usual program, okay? As you can see, the syntax is like usual C compile program, right? If you want to make it executable, what you want to do is use 755. So meaning the owner, right, can read, can write, and also can execute, okay? So you change the mode, become 755, then you can run it as usual, okay? And I want to tell you to write a script, right? First thing, this is very important, okay? Hash followed by exclamation mark. It's called as hashbang, okay? Hashbang. All the script, okay? All the script you have written, you need to add this thing. This is like a fixed rule, okay? You need to write this. Then let's go and look at a simple introduction first. To write a script, right, you can do this, add a comment, okay? This is a hashbang, this is a comment. It's different, okay? It's different. It's a hashbang, it's a comment. You can add any comment anywhere, okay? So like example, you add a comment, what is this for? bin/bash is the directory of the bash. That's why we add it at the top. Just extra knowledge only. Okay, extra knowledge. To add the variables, right? To add the variables, unlike C, okay, you don't need to specify the data type. By default, all the data type is stored as a string, okay, string. When you declare like this, it's still a string, okay. So how do you retrieve the value? Because to add the $sign, okay. $sign followed by the variable's name. By doing this, you'll be able to retrieve the value of the variables. You can, to understand it better, right, I would say the $sign is like a dereference, okay, like the C dereference. I hope that make a little more sense, okay. When you are declaring your variables, right, you declare your variables, you cannot add a space, okay, no space in between, okay. This is very important. It's very space sensitive, okay, space sensitive, also case sensitive. And be careful of the typo, okay, be careful of the typo. If the variable's name, right, suddenly got a typo, okay, it won't report an error. This is something about scripting, okay, it won't report an error. Instead, right, it will just show you an empty string, okay. If you print like this, or if you print, for example, if you mistype the E as big letter, okay, if you mistype the E as big letter, what it will print is just a empty. So I hope you can imagine something, okay, that's empty. The scripting will not tell you you have done a mistake in here, okay. It's not considered as error. That's why be careful, okay, be careful, look at the case. And this another thing, okay, another thing really important. Example, if your program, okay, we look at the compile C program first. If this compile C program is supposed to have printing something, right? If you don't want this program to print something, you can add this, okay, add this right direction followed by a /dev/now. This is like a backhaul. Your bash scripting support variables. There's also if and case statement, okay? If and case statement. And the case statement, right, will have something like regex, regular expression that you can use to evaluate the case, which is a very convenient thing. And lastly, our scripting will have a while loop. There is no do while loop, okay? Only while loop. And there's for each loop, called as for each. There is no like integer I is equal to 0. There's no such for I equals 0 loop. It's only for each loop for bash scripting. So let's go and look at the example. If you want to use an if statement, right, you need to add a semicolon, okay? The the condition followed by a semicolon, and then followed by the keyword then. Okay, it's very important. Okay, if, then, else, then, else, then, fi. Okay, fi is like the backward of the if statement. So if you want to evaluate, okay, if you want to evaluate the file, right, you need to use this. Okay, technically, right, this symbol, okay, symbol, right, is a command. Okay, it's actually a type of command. Return the exit status. Okay, return the exit status. It is used with the if statement. So example, right, inside here, right, you can use the -e. -e means if the file exists. Okay, -f is whether it's an ordinary file. I think most common, okay, most common we use is -d. -d check if it's the directory, and also this thing, okay, this thing is also most commonly used. -x. -x is meaning you are checking whether the file is executable. Of course, right now when you see this file, right, we didn't declare the file, okay? We didn't declare the file. If you want to access the argument, okay, if you want to access the argument, you want to change this, become 0, 1, or 2, okay? Depend on the which argument you want to take out, okay? Example, if the question asks you to check whether the file is executable or not, then you need to, I don't know what is the question would ask now. For example, the question asks you to get the first parameter, then you need to change accordingly, okay? Let me undo first, undo. Okay. After we know this, right? Okay, let's go and look at this. There are a few important things you need to know. If you want to check if file is newer than another file, you use -nt. Okay, -nt. If you want to check if it's an older, then use -ot. If you want to check a string, okay, whether the string is exactly the same, you use the equal sign. Okay, equals. It's not double equal. It's just an equal. And if you want to check if it's not equal, then you just use a negation equal. Okay. However, how do you do comparison between numbers? If you want to make comparison between numbers, right? When you do comparison between numbers, you need to use a -eq. Okay, -eq. This is very important. Okay, don't abuse this. -eq is just comparison for number. Okay, you ignore leading 0. Okay, leading 0. That means, right, 0001 is actually equal to 1. Okay, if you use -eq, you ignore the leading 0 and it will ignore any spaces. Okay, example, if there's a few spaces in front. Example, this is a string. Okay. Example, this is a string. Example, this is a string. It will ignore the leading 0, okay? It will ignore leading 0 and it will ignore the leading space when you are doing a comparison, okay? This is one thing you need to know. And if you want to check if it's not equal, right? For number, we are talking about numbers now. You use the -ne, and if more than, greater than, gt. Greater or equal, -ge, less than, okay? Less than equal. Okay, simple. After we cover if statement, right? I think this is still relatively simple, right? And then let's go and look at the case. If you do a switch case, you need to add a pattern. You use ABC with a star, okay? ABC with a star, right? That means you are checking the leading character, okay? You are checking if the leading is starting from ABC. Start with ABC. If you are doing a star ABC, you are checking the string, okay? If the string is end with the ABC, if you use a star ABC star, that means you are checking if this entire string contains ABC. Yeah, but you need to keep in mind, okay? You need to keep in mind this star, right? This thing is actually not same as regex, okay? They are not same as regex. They are actually more than this pattern, but in your the lecture slide is just going to teach you a few. If you want to match a character, example, if you want to match something 0 or 1 time, right? If you use a question mark, it means you are matching 0 or more 1 time. If you use a star, right, it means you are matching a pattern 0 or more time. If you use a plus, right, that means 1 or more time. Let's look at this example of plus. If you match a 0 to 9, okay, if you want to match 0 to 9 with a plus symbol, right, that means, right, you match any number, okay, match any number. Example, regex, I'm talking about regex. So 1, 2, 3 would match, 1 is also would match, 2 is also would match. No matter how many digits, but cannot contain space. Any digit using a plus symbol, okay? This 0 to 9 is just capture one group, okay? Capture one inside here. But when you add a plus, okay? When you add the plus, right, it means you want to match 1 or more times. So any digit would match. Just example. Let me undo. Okay. And if you want to use dot and follow by this asterisk, right? Dot asterisk means, right, you are going to match any sequence of character. So it's very hungry. Any character, even with a space, right? Just matching, get match. Okay. And then if you use ABC with a question mark, okay, ABC with a question mark, that means AB and then optionally followed by a C. Okay. Meaning C is like optional. Then if we use our regex as ABC question marks, ABC question marks, then as you can see, then let's go and copy this line. Then let's press it, and then we remove it with a C. As you can see, this question marks means optional. The C is optional. You will mesh true, okay? Mesh true, okay? This is how you use the regex. You read a file, can you imagine you use a script, right? Use a script, read a file. Okay, example, you read the file, right? Using a CAT, using a CAT command. Example, use a CAT command to read a file, right? You might want to use a regex to filter the word. Okay, here got example. Example, how to use the regex. But there's a lot of ways to use regex, right? It's just one of the example. And there are a few more regex notation. If you are interested, you can go and check. For this ABC, I think important one is this one. Important one is this one. If you want to match either ABC or the F HI, use this symbol. I don't know what is this symbol for pipe. Use this symbol, okay? I think this is important. And you need to be careful. You need to be careful about spacing. You match this space, okay? You match this space. If only without space would match heads only, okay? Heads. If you put the space meaning, okay? If you put a space meaning, it will match the entire word with a space, okay? If you want to match the beginning, use this arrow symbol. If you want to match the end of the line, that means use this thing, okay? A bit different than the switch case one. Just now the switch case one is a bit different compared to regex. Yeah, that's all about regex. But please watch back the lab video, okay? The lab recording by Dr. Ling would explore more about how to use the regex. For me, I'm here just to show you the introduction only. Okay, if you want to read a file, right, like just now I said, you can use a CAT command. Okay, CAT. Use a $ symbol, then followed by a single bracket. Okay, single bracket. You can use a $ followed by a bracket, or you can use a backtick. This is a backtick character. I don't know if it's visible in your screen or not. It's very tiny. Backtick. It's a backtick. A backtick. Either this is okay. Which one you prefer, you can use which one. This backtick or this $, right? Meanings, right? It's going to run the command. Okay, it's going to run the command and capture the output. So, example, in your Linux terminal, right? If you write this CAT file.txt, it will output the content of the file. Okay, it will output content of the file. So, if you want to capture the output, you use this symbol. Use this symbol. Okay. So, and also this is showing you how to use example of the words in the here inside this line, right? I mean in each line, so you are going to print the words.